How's it going, everybody? My name's Dave Whipple and you're watching Bush Radical. In today's episode of the Alaska Cabin Project, we're going to be finishing up our kitchen cabinets, building some beautiful decorative log drawers. We're going to be using scrap lumber, simple tools, and simple materials, and it's going to turn out awesome. Let's do it. Here's the kitchen cabinets just the way we left them, except for the fact now they're packed full of stuff that needs to have a permanent home. These two sections underneath the sink bowl are going to be covered up with false drawer fronts. And then down here on the end, we're going to have a nice big utility drawer. And then, of course, cabinet doors all the way across the bottom. So what we're going to do first is we're going to build the drawers and the drawer faces. And then we're going to install the drawers. We're going to install the false drawer faces. We're going to build all of the cabinet doors and hang all the cabinet doors. And our entire kitchen cabinet, countertop, sink project will be all done. Now this is what we're going to make our drawer faces out of. These are just sidings cut from the logs we used in the house. Now what I'm doing here is I'm taking and cutting these log sidings to the length I need. They're just from the logs of the house, but they've been sitting around a while and they're getting difficult to peel. But the benefit to that is look at this coffee and cream finish on the outside of these drawer faces. This is because the logs turn brown when they're exposed to oxygen and under the bark. Once the bark's off, they'll stay nice and white, but if the bark's on, they will that brown will creep up under the bark where it's exposed to oxygen. Now I'm taking off the sides so I can have 6-inch wide drawer faces and the false drawer faces, and again just peeling them with your fingers. That's the beautiful thing about working with this particular wood is the ease of peeling it. Very interesting piece. Like that knot right there in the end. Once I've got all of my drawer faces, now I'm going to start cutting the pieces that I'm going to need for the drawer boxes themselves. Alright, you can see that I've got all the drawer faces cut. I've also got bits and pieces, everything else cut, which includes the lumber that's going to be built into the drawer boxes themselves. Now the fact that I'm working with rough cut lumber, I'm going to have to take a lot of this and at least hit it with the hand planer. So we'll clean this stuff up, and then where the drawers are built into boxes, I'm going to cut a channel around the bottom so that the bottom of the drawer will fit into a channel and lock in from all four sides before I glue it and nail it. You can see this rough cut lumber I've had around for about a year. It's good and dry, but of course it's still a rough cut. So I'm going to take my electric hand planer. Wow, look at how fast that thing can work. And I'm going to take all of that rough cut fuzz off of it. This is basically what you get if you buy lumber from the lumber yard. It's planed and seasoned and kiln dried. I've just taken rough cut, made it smooth. Now I also need to do the inside of the drawer faces and the false drawer fronts, because they were cut with a chainsaw and they're pretty rough. See, that planer cleans them up pretty good. So now that I got the table saw set, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take every single one of the drawer sides and I'm going to run it through the saw. And then I'm going to scooch the fence back about 1/8 of an inch. I'm going to do the same thing again. I'm going to scooch it back about 1/8 of an inch. I'm going to do the same thing again. And in that way I'm going to end up with about a 1/4 inch deep channel, about 1/2 inch wide. Now there are setups you can buy where you can stack blades together on a table saw and make this cut in a single pass. I don't have any of those tools here handy, so I'm doing this one pass at a time, taking about 1/8 of an inch with each pass, and then I'll scooch that fence and take another 1/8 of an inch. I'm just going to make myself a pencil mark where this whole thing was. And then I'm just going to scooch it back a little by eye. About like that. Now altogether it took me about 4 separate passes to take that notch out to make it about 1/2 inch wide. What I'm using for the bottoms of the drawers is 7/16 OSB. So I want that channel to be, you know, roughly 1/2 inch. About 4 passes like this, moving the fence a little each time, made that happen. Now that all the channels are cut, I'll just give them a quick cleaning with a chisel. Now we're to the point we can actually build a box, put the drawer bottom in it, glue it all up, screw it all up, attach the drawer face to the outside of it, take it inside and stick it in the drawer hole. And then we've got a drawer. Let's get to it. We're going to glue all this stuff together. I'm going to put a nice fat bead of glue right down the center of that channel. There, be generous. Beauty. Now we'll just work our way around the box, glue it all up, screw it together. Nice, fat, thick bead of glue. Lovely. Come on. Come on, baby, go in. There's a saying in a lot of the trades. We're not building a piano, we're building the box it came in. Now that drawer bottom is locked in on all four sides, inside that channel, glued, and in each one of these corners, we have it glued and screwed. Let's throw that drawer face on there. Now I've got to say that these drawer faces, they turned out cooler than I thought they would have. They're pretty awesome actually. And what we're going to do is we're just basically going to take the drawer face, we're going to set it on the drawer, we're going to center it both directions, and we're going to run 4 screws in from the back through the box of the drawer up into the drawer face and hold the whole thing together. Very simple. Basically, there's your drawer face, there's your drawer. Once it's centered right about where you want it, stuff a screw in it. No sense in overthinking it. And there, you have yourself a nice decorative log homemade drawer. And this is not your Lowe's, Home Depot, giant box store drawer. Your grandkids will be able to put their silverware in this drawer in 50 years because it ain't falling apart. It's not particle board sides and, you know, pneumatic staples. This sucker is solid. If I wanted to, I could stand on it. No problem whatsoever. Is it crude? Yeah. Is it made with simple tools and simple materials? Absolutely. But it's solid. And the second verse is the same as the first. Just like the last time, the most important thing to put on is this beautiful drawer face. Another beautiful drawer. And there's my 2 drawers with the faces on them, ready to go in. So let's test fit this drawer and see how it looks. Beautiful. All right, let's try the fit of our second drawer here. Beauty. Now I need to screw on these false fronts, which are going to look super cool. Now all I'm doing here is I'm screwing through the cabinet faces and catching the edge of those false fronts. Doesn't have to be anything fancy, just needs to hold them on. Well, that's it. So now that both drawers are in and the 2 false faces are on, and basically all the top of the cabinet system is all done, now we're on to doing the cabinet doors, which is really important because nobody wants to just look at all your stuff. Beauty. So with a decorative log drawer face, which is a hard thing to say, one thing I don't want to do is I don't want any kind of hardware, you know, no door pulls or handles or anything like that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to carve a small finger notch at the bottom of the drawer face so you can open and close the drawer with your fingertips without having to put a handle on this really cool looking drawer. I suppose the best way to do this for sure would be to use a router, but I don't have a router with me, so I'm going to have to just freehand it. There we go. So basically what we have is just this little bit of a recess right here, and it's just for your fingertips. So you can reach underneath the drawer, grab this lip, and slide the drawer out. That way we don't want to have to put any drawer hardware on this log face. Perfect. Now let's make the cabinet doors. I need to make marks at 20 inches all the way down this because my doors are going to be about 20 inches tall. Now when it comes to building cabinets and drawers and countertops and doors for cabinets, I'm sure that there's a right way and there's a wrong way, but I don't know either one of those. I just do what makes sense at the time and what will serve the purpose, make something usable and solid without getting too fancy about it. Because if you guys have watched this channel, you know that fancy's not my thing. So I'm just going to find the two faces of these boards that look the best, put them together edgewise, like so. I'm going to take a couple of these just 1x strips. This is like 1.25 inches by 3/4. Lay them across the back, just like that, and screw them in. Make sure the tops are nice and flush. I need to make sure that the cross piece I'm using, it's pretty much centered. There you go. That's a cabinet door. Now this is the hardware that we're going to use for the door. These are just pretty standard hardware store door hinges. The beautiful thing about these is that the door mounts over top of the hinge. So all you see is this exposed part. And these are also spring loaded so that when you close the door, it closes and snaps into position. These also come with these little tiny pads that you put on the corners of the inside of the door, so when you close it, it goes boom, as opposed to bang. Little cushiony bumper. Now about the only thing you really got to remember when you're mounting door hardware like this is you want them the same distance from the top and the bottom on all your cabinets, so they all look the same when you're looking across your set of cabinet faces. Okay, that top hinge is mounted and it's about 1 inch and, well, it's 1 inch and 13/16, kind of an odd number. So we're just going to match that. We're going to do the same thing on the bottom. There we go. Now from here, we're going to take our two little foam bumpers and take the little adhesive pad off the back. It's just a sticker back. Then you take it and you stick it on the corner and you're good. Let's hook this sucker up. Basically, what we need to do is just make sure it's centered on the door, and then we want to make sure it's above and below the doorway about the same amount. About like that-ish. There we go. I'm going to say that that is about, that's about right. Looks good. Nice. Beauty. About like so. About like that-ish. Nice. You hear those nice little foam bumpers? Get in, get your stuff, close it up, never see it. So, what are your thoughts on the new cabinets?
Amazing.
Would you say that those are probably the greatest cabinets in the history of ever?
The greatest cabinets in the history of cabinets in the world, in the universe. Didn't you hire these out? Didn't you say earlier? You hired these?
I'm just going to delete everything you said. Boo! Whenever I build anything, whether it's an outbuilding or a home or a small cabin like this, I'm looking to hit several points. I want to make something that's practical, something that's affordable, something that's functional, and if at all possible, something that looks really cool. And I think with this kitchen setup, we've hit all those points. I probably have about $125 into every part I used on this setup, and now I have an interesting looking, affordable, and well-built set of cabinets, countertop, and sink. Thank you guys so much for watching Bush Radical. My name's Dave Whipple. Be radical, eh? See you soon.